Before we get started changing the properties more, I'm going to grab these two transition 2 things, and while it does happen at the start of the game, we only want it to happen once, and start game is going to be called if we lose a game and want to play it again and so on, so we don't want the planet and so on to be moving every time. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this right up here inside of this create play screen area. So we've created the background, we've created the planet, and now we have the background and the planet moving a little bit to get the game started. I mentioned that the display objects have different properties, and we've messed with X and Y. They have a lot more than that, and let's just go ahead and try some of them right now. Let's just say planet.alpha equals 0.5. Alpha is actually the opacity of the object, and you can see that it's much dimmer now. And in fact, we can go let's go all the way to like up down to a 0.2, and the regular values for this are between 0 and 1. 1 meaning it's all the way opaque. The alpha is all the way on. That's the way it's supposed to look right there. So we've got this alpha thing that we can change, and we can actually change that inside of transition 2. So let's start with planet.alpha equals 0. What does that mean? That means you can't see it. It's there, but you can't see it because alpha is all the way to 0. So let's say over the course of this time that alpha changes to 1. So we've got the planet actually rising up on the screen and fading in at the same time, which is kind of a cool look. In fact, we could do that with the background. Let's try this. Background.alpha equals 0. We'll start at 0, and we will set that to 1. That's a kind of a cool look. That might be a good way to start the game. Let's look at that again. I like that. That's nice. Okay, so just by playing around with the alpha of these things and the transition 2, we've got something that has it's kind of a cool looking start here. It's like, it looks like a game. Now, there's not only the alpha, but the objects have a height and a width, and they have a rotation, and they have a scale, the size, and you can change all of that stuff. If we wanted to change the planet's size, we could go planet.xscale, and watch out for these kind of things. Here's a lowercase x, uppercase S. Lua and Corona SDK are case sensitive, so you need to make sure that they're actually typed correctly. X scale equals 2. So we're going to double the X, which means we're going to double the width of the thing. Yeah, we got an oval kind of thing going on there. And let's go ahead and do that with the Y also. And we actually have a double-sized planet now. One of the things you need to remember is that when you're scaling like this, if you scale bigger and bigger and bigger, the resolution, the quality of the image isn't going to be the same. But for some special effects, this actually might be a really cool thing to do. So we could start like this, and then let's say that we want it to scale back to the normal amount. So we can put that inside of our transition 2. And let's see what this looks like. Oh, that's odd. Okay, so obviously I did something. I didn't do the oh, I did the Y scales too. That's not going to work. And that's kind of cool. Now it almost looks like it's coming from the foreground and going to the back. Okay, that's neat. But I'm gonna take that out of there because I like the original way better. Looks good. But I just wanted to show you that you can change the scale, all of that kind of stuff, and you can either change it on the fly like this, or you can change it as part of a transition 2, like we're doing here. All right, we're almost done with this section on display and animation, but there's one more thing I want to go into, and that is a way that you can make a piece of code trigger another piece of code, and we'll get into that next.